What's up, people? It's your boy Levelhead back with another live The Level Gamers podcast. I have some people here that y'all I'm pretty sure y'all want to hear. Mr. Jedi Knight, go ahead, bro.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gents? Glad to be here.
And we also got another foreigner who's left the country that told us we wouldn't hear from him for a few weeks. He just happened to jump on this evening. So go ahead, man.
What's up? What's up? This is K-Bomb 20 live from London. Enjoying myself, man. Gonna pop in for a little bit, say what's up.
Okay. So yeah, man, we finally got one where we on Sunday with Jedi Knight all the way from Germany. Been a minute since we got it up with this dude. I ain't even have time to do the prep work to make everybody know that we're gonna be on. So that's why you didn't hear the intro and all that, because the Pro Tools are still loading and hey, we got to get it going. So, how it been, man? How long? It's been a minute since we talked to you, Jedi.
Yeah, man. It's been going. Same old. Going to work, coming back home. Enjoying myself with the wife, and then watching my Jets drop the ball during the draft. You know how it goes.
Go ahead, because y'all was kind of talking about that before we jumped on. Who the Jets pick up and who didn't they? And who didn't they not get that you think they should have got?
It's not necessarily bad plays. It's just I don't feel like they addressed particular needs. It's like on one end they talk about the best player available, and then certain players that they've already had that are in the development process, they kind of defeat the purpose by getting players within the same position. Let me give you an idea. First of all, as I said before we started the podcast, the Jets have drafted defense in now 9 consecutive first rounds. The last time they've drafted an offensive player was Mark Sanchez back in 2009. Like, this ritual is ridiculous. And what's worse about that is that half of the first round picks that they drafted since that time is gone. You got guys like Kyle Wilson that was a bust. Guys like Quentin Coples that was a bust. Other dudes that I, off the top of my head can't name, but they're not on the team. You have guys like Sheldon Richardson that is a good player, but he has a lot of off the field issues, and the Jets are looking about, trading him. You got a guy like Mo Wilkerson who's a good player, but as soon as he got his big payday, he kind of went downhill, with his play on the field. Now, granted, he broke his leg in week 17 the year prior, but it was just his whole mannerism, the way he went about his business this past year was pretty much a turnoff. What's worse is the Jets have a poor history of second round picks. The last time the Jets had a second round pick that really panned out to something was David Harris. I think that was like in 2006. I can't name you the last second round pick that amounted to anything that the Jets had. So not only do you dismiss the offensive side of the ball with the first round pick, but generally you allocate the second round pick that you've been historically poor at to the offense, such as last year with, Christian Hackenberg, a guy who shouldn't have been taken in the second round, should have been like on the 4th round or 5th round, given that he's a project. And every quarterback last year that was, playing before him on the depth chart that was either benched or injured, he was so bad as a rookie quarterback that they refused to put him on the field when the Jets had arguably the worst tandem of quarterbacks in the league. How can you not get on the field when you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mike Petty,
7 interceptions,
Smith?
7, right?
Now, what happened to, okay.
So I'm sorry. I know you did ask me the question. They drafted Jamal Adams out of LSU. He's a good player, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
He's a strong safety. We took a 6th pick and we put it into a strong safety. Just a couple of years ago, we drafted Calvin Pryor with the 19th pick.
I was just about to say that. Like number 20, right?
Yeah, he was in number 19. And I think the pick right after that was from the Packers, and they took Clinton Dix from Alabama. So, number one, we take a strong safety when we needed a free safety. And right after we draft a strong safety, the Packers take a free safety. This free safety is now a Pro Bowler, and we're stuck with Calvin Pryor, who was a bust, and no free safety because Gilchrist has a patella tendon injury. He completely ripped up his kneecap in the last game of the season last year. It's like the level of stupidity that these guys do. Well, anyway, they take a guy who is arguably the first or second best defensive player in the draft, but then they go into the second round and they draft a safety. So you draft two safeties, dude. They draft a safety with the 6th pick. And then with the 39th pick, they draft the safety, K-Bomb.
You know what, man? We got to start a sports podcast.
It's ridiculous.
We definitely go ahead though. I'm listening because you dropped some.
Now, mind you, right? Last year, one thing I'll give our general manager, Mike McCagnon, his background is a scouting background. His general manager experience, given that he's a rookie, he's kind of getting owned in certain areas. But one thing that I do like about him is that he's found depth in the later ends of the draft. I'll give you an example. Last year, he picked up Sharon Peake, a guy at Clemson that he showed production, but he also had a bit of an injury history there. But he was also stuck behind guys like Sammy Watkins, guys that had that prolific, popularity about them, and they went high in the draft years before him, before he was really able to get some of the shine. We also got what is his name? Gonna make me Google this. Robbie Anderson, out of I believe he went to Temple. He was an undrafted free agent. He's actually a really good wide receiver. He would have been arguably one of the best wide receivers last year if it wasn't for the quarterback situation. This dude was able to blow past defenses that were in prevent defense. He always found a way to get behind the defense.
Now, which one was this?
His name is Robbie Anderson.
Okay.
He was an undrafted free agent. And we picked him up, and he stuck on the team. And he started to get starting reps because of his production. The problem was the inaccuracy. Fitzpatrick didn't have, an accurate arm, and anything past 15 yards was totally suspect with this dude. Bryce Petty, he's not really efficient. He's inconsistent. Geno Smith, when he finally got on the field, he got on the field for 2 quarters and then, tore his ACL, so he was done for the season. Yeah, and then Hackenberg is not ready. So there was about 7 plays, no lie to you, that I seen that if the ball would have been thrown to him, either in stride or at all, it would have been a touchdown. And when I put those isolated plays in comparison to a guy that was drafted by the Saints rookie wide receiver, he's from Ohio State, Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
He was on par with Michael Thomas, and mind you, Michael Thomas has Drew Brees throwing to him. Legit. If it wasn't for these inaccurate plays, like this guy, he's really elusive. You can really lose him on a football field. And going back and watching Game Pass and looking at the way this guy runs his routes, it's not like he's super he's not super elite. He just knows how to get open. And that's all you need as a wide receiver, And long story short, we have all of these guys that we got last year. So when we got to the 3rd round, the Jets draft a wide receiver. And I'm like, you just picked up 2 solid projects in the 7th round and in undrafted free agency last year. Why are you drafting a wide receiver in the 3rd round when you had not just the worst quarterback situation in the league? If you don't want to address the quarterback situation, we had, without a shadow of a doubt, the worst tight end situation in the entire National Football League. Why are you drafting wide receiver? It's just the most
going in
situation I have ever seen. In the 4th round, they draft a wide receiver. So you go safety in the 1st round, safety in the 2nd round, wide receiver in the 3rd round, wide receiver in the 4th round, the 3rd round, and then the 4th round. I'm sitting here like, what the hell are they doing? What are they doing? It's and again, it's not like I'm criticizing the players that they picked up. This is not a criticism on the players. I think Jamal Adams is a beast as a strong safety. The dude, if anybody who's interested, go to like the draftbreakdowns.com. people who are really into football that really likes to watch the way players play, and they're not really just interested in football from the perspective of entertainment. Watch Jamal Adams. This dude, he's a freak on the football field. But you went defense for 8 consecutive drafts before this one. When are you going to start addressing in the offense? What's the point of putting together a good defense if your offense can't score points?
You asked him, Level.
Oh, you asking me?
No. I said you asked him the question, Level.
Yeah, and I just went on a total rant. I could go all day, but I don't. I know we got like an hour.
Somebody was hitting me up on another thing. I was texting them back, and I was listening to you. And then I didn't know if you addressed me because I was kind of distracted.
No, that was more like a rhetorical question. It's one of those questions to make you think. When are you going to address the offense?
But it sounds like you want to give them one of these. Slap yourself!
Dude, I kind of do. Man. And they find, see, Level, look what you did, man. You got me reminiscing about this tragedy, this travesty that happened, for these past 3 days leading up to today. Man, they finally get a tight end in Leggett. He's the tight end out of Clemson. He was playing with Deshaun Watson.
Oh, he was legit?
Yeah, the problem is we need a tight end that can block.
No, he ain't gonna block for you.
He's not gonna block for you.
He'll catch it though. He legit catching.
Yeah, he as an offensive threat, this is true.
He legit.
But because we didn't address the offensive line, the last time we've drafted the offensive line with high picks, like in the first or second round, I think the second round was Vladimir Dukas, which was also a bust, right? But in the first round, it was the Brickashaw Ferguson and Nick Mangold in the same draft. You know what year that was? That was 2006.
It's been that long? Damn.
It's been that long. So if you're gonna if you're not gonna allocate resources to the offense, when you finally get a chance to address the guy that's gonna influence not just the passing game, but also the running game, because that is really what the tight ends do. The tight end is like a Swiss Army knife. You can use him up the seam, and you can really have him sit in between zones, but you also need somebody who is able to chip or hold down a block, right? You got this guy, George Kittle, out of Iowa. This dude is blocking guys like a lineman. The dude, he's an absolute beast. I've seen this dude block a dude off the screen. Like, I'm watching highlights, and he's blocking dudes off the screen. Like, the dude, he takes his blocking with such passion, the way a lot of people do their route running and catching, because he also understands that is an aspect of the tight end position. And then I'm watching in the 5th round as teams like the 49ers are taking him. And I'm like, how did you allow this to happen? And you're going to get a guy who's only an offensive, like we just got that from the guy that went from Texas Tech a couple of years ago. We got him in the 2nd round. The dude had like 100 catches, 1,000-something yards. And then it's crazy,
man. I understand. I mean, hey, man. Hey, we here for you.
Yeah, man.
We here for you. I ain't trying to. I'm not laughing at the system. I'm feeling your pain. Like, this dude is upset. I understand that. I understand where you're at, because LeBron don't be doing me like that sometimes, man. But I don't even want to talk about them. I'm glad they made it out of that first round. But
and can I get to the greatest part of this whole thing, and then we can continue on.
Okay.
The Jets start the draft drafting 2 defensive backs, and they end the draft drafting 2 defensive backs. I can't even call it with this team, bro. I can't even.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, yeah, I understand that we have a bad secondary. I do understand. But I mean, in the 6th round, you really couldn't like bless the offense and just say, "Hey, we got 2 top safeties. Why pick up 2 project or developmental cornerbacks when, in all reality, we can pick up some?" I don't understand the logic, man. Sometimes I feel yeah, I'm like a couch GM. I've never been out there scouting and being all around the country, driving thousands and thousands of miles a year looking at different football players. But at the same time, we all have eyes, and some of us know football. You know, it's crazy, bro.
I feel you, man. Well, hey, Jedi is in the house, and he just dropped the mother load on you about the New York Jets, and the misfunction or dysfunction of how they handle their draft picks. But K-Bone 20, you got anything to add to that, or we about to move on? What you want to do?
Nah, bro, that was just exciting just watching him go in like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't got no team no more. My Rams left, so I don't got no squad no more.
Yeah, you got divorced. We all got divorced in Missouri. Anyway, I never cared for. I stopped liking the Rams after the back when Falk and what's his name? Bruce? What's his name?
Isaac Bruce.
Isaac Bruce, all them, and Kurt Warner, them were gone. I stopped following them.
Squad back there, man. Too bad that the NFL allowed the Patriots to cheat you guys out of the Super Bowl like that.
And that's we would not dredge up that.
My bad level.
Yeah, we won't go there because, dude, I was heated. I know where I was. I remember what happened, and I thought Kurt had threw the game. Honestly, I was like, Kurt Warner throwing this game, man. He paid off how bad he was playing.
Nah, it came out years later that the Patriots, they had like the 2 weeks worth of practices that the Rams did during the Super Bowl. That 2 week stretch leading up to the Super Bowl, those practices.
What they call it? Some gate, Spygate.
That was with the Jets. But before that, before Spygate, it came out that this information came out during Spygate, I believe.
Okay.
But Spygate was initiated against in a Jet game back when a former coach basically blew the whistle on it.
Yeah, what's his name? I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I forget his name. But anyway, it also came out during that time that the Patriots, it was a strong possibility that they had 2 weeks worth of practices from the Rams leading up to that Super Bowl game.
And that's my thing, man. Like, everybody praising the Patriots, but we know that was the year that 9/11 happened, that they won. You know, it's very coincidental that the Patriots win in the most patriotic year ever in America, during the year of 9/11. Yeah. And then all the stuff come out about the Patriots and they're cheating, but they supposed to be this all-time great franchise. I don't want to. Anyway, we're not going to talk about cheating Belichick and cheating Brady.
Bella cheat.
That's right. Bella cheat, yeah. Anyway, so let's get it in, man. This is the Live and Level Gamers podcast. Jedi Knight has started it off right. We got K-Bun 20 in the house. Hopefully Keith Norris or D2K might jump on later. But we always do it. We know what Jedi been on, but he might have played some game in between watching his team make some of the most dumbest moments in their draft picks. But have you been gaming on anything, Jedi?
Yes, I've actually been gaming on Madden 17. I downloaded the latest rosters. You know, you can go to the download community and people who updated rosters with the rookies. I downloaded some, so I was able to play with updated rosters. And I've also been playing Uncharted. I got back on that. I stopped playing Uncharted for like a month.
Uncharted 4?
No, Uncharted the collection. I'm still on Uncharted 1. I've never played the Uncharted series, so I want to play 4 because I've heard so many good things about it, but I wanted to start with the collection first to kind of familiarize myself with the series.
You ain't missing that, man. It's a forgettable.
Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'll stop.
Don't do that.
Hey, Bob,
I gotta give him that from even in London, man. You gotta get that, K-Bob.
Yeah. I ain't over it.
Anyway, so what you over in London, so you better not be playing no game.
Right. Man, so I had a decision, right? I'll tell you about my life. So I had a decision. I was going back and forth on should I bring my PlayStation or should I not bring my PlayStation? But going back and forth. So I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? I guess because my wife, you know what I'm saying, we were out here because of her job. So her job sends her out here. And so we're out here because of that. And so I'm like, there's gonna be some off time between when she working and when she get off. So I'm like, I can get me some gaming in doing that off time. So I went back and forth, and I decided not to bring it, man. So I did not bring my PlayStation. I haven't gamed since I left my America. So I haven't really been gaming or nothing except for some phone games. That I don't count that as gaming. That's just passing time. We on the train out here. But but I did see something cool. I'll shout out to Level and some of those Nintendo fans out there. I'm out here taking the train. I guess they don't call it the train. They don't call it the subway. They call it the tube.
Yeah, the tube. You're right.
And so I'm taking the tube, and I look over, and I see one of the Londoners out here playing on the train. So I thought that was something pretty cool, man. So that's actually the first time I've seen it. I've never seen it in someone in St. Louis, my hometown, because I guess I don't take the train. But even outside of that, in any state I've been so far, I haven't seen anyone just out in the open playing the Switch. So it was the first time seeing it, and I had to go thousands of miles to go see it. So I just want to give that shout out.
Yeah, listen, you got to go with that. But I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen a Switch out and about either yet. I'm shocked I haven't, but that's pretty cool, man. Y'all gonna have to, cause now that you've gone overseas, K-Bum, I would love for you and Jedi to give us, maybe not today, because we'll probably be on that conversation for a minute, but maybe a little bit towards the end, but how it feels to be outside of the States in another country and how it differs from the media-driven perspective of foreign countries.
Man, yeah, I can literally spend 45 minutes on that, man, because it's been an eye-opening situation, and I know me and Jedi went back and forth for like 2-3 hours.
Yeah, that's why I brought that up, because I'm at work just reading Jedi's posts. I'm like, man, I would really love, and it's gonna happen. I mean, I don't know when, but to get outside of the media-driven, fear-mongering press that we have, and kind of actually get in Germany, get in London, get in some of these other places, which I'm pretty sure some places actually live up and may even exceed what is
North Korea probably.
Right, but a lot of our ideas of foreign countries has been conditioned by the media we watch, and we know our media is kind of tainted. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's when you meet the people here, man. I'm not gonna I may talk about a little. We have some time afterwards, but if something happened to me at a local pub, man, that changed my entire life. Hopefully I get a chance to talk about it, man. But it happened at a pub out here in London, man. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever done.
Well, let me write that down so I can remember to bring it back up later on, because. Yeah, I wouldn't mind you doing that. I want to get to this game because I know that's what they're here for. But I'll bring it back up. I'll write it down, give you some space to bring it up, because I'm pretty sure Jedi got a lot to say on that, coming from the NY, a very cultural, diverse, one of our probably the most culturally diverse spot in America.
Yep. Going
overseas, I'm pretty sure you still found some shocking aspects that you didn't think you would see.
Yeah, I definitely have. And like, K-Bomb said, earlier this week, we really had like a conversation. It lasted like 3 or 4 hours, just going back and forth, talking about different experiences and, things that you really do notice when you visit different countries firsthand. But I would definitely say we should allocate a particular podcast to that,
Right.
Because there's so many different aspects of that you can speak on, that it's hard to explain trying to be overly concise, because you'll just miss certain aspects of it.
Right.
But yeah, overall, to just say it here, it's been a really great experience. It's been a true eye opener.
Right, that's what I'm getting from listening to K-Bum and seeing his post, and then a few times we talked since he's been there, man. It just seemed like, dude, the experience is totally different from what you would believe you would experience coming from America, and then getting there and seeing that it is nothing like anything that we experienced. When you said you walked past a few cops and none of them cared that you was even there or that you was from New York, I was like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
dude, that's real talk, man. I've been out here for a couple years now, and I have not had one incident with a cop In my hometown, I would say for about the last year or two, and my wife can attest to this, bro. I've had problems with the cops like every 3 months. I don't have a record. I've never been arrested. Nothing. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm just saying, in the Bronx, it's every 3 months. It's like clockwork, you know. And there was one time when like 7 cops jumped out of a van, surrounded me and my wife, 6 dudes and a female. It's like, dude, I got stories for days about that. Meanwhile, right, in a country that I'm not even from, I get respect.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Like you said, we gotta commit a whole podcast to that type of discussion, because I want to have it, because that intrigued me. Like, I'm not gonna say I have a whole bunch of interactions with police, but I have been pulled over. I have been racially profiled, asked where I'm coming from. You fit the description. I'm like, dude, you ain't got nothing on. I ain't never been arrested, so I can't fit no description. You know what I'm saying? My car didn't look like a car. Like, so they just so happen to have this exact same car coming from the exact same space I'm coming from at the exact same time. Really? No, stop it, because ain't too many people even got this car where I'm at. Matter of fact, no one does. So you just didn't like the fact I got that car. But anyway, what I've been gaming on is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Just picked it up this past Friday. And this game looks way better than what I thought it was going to look. And I'm really shocked, because I thought it was basically the same game that was on the Wii U. And it is, but I don't think 1080p will make this much of a difference. So I feel like they kind of redone stuff and made it look a little bit better. That's how I feel. But it definitely looks good. I like all the new added features to it. I like the fact that I can put the feature on where you can't run off the stage for my daughter, so she can actually play it. And they got another feature where the gas is constantly accelerating forward. So even if she forget to hold on to push the gas button, she's still going forward. It might be slower than holding the gas, but it allows her to progress through the stage without being stuck in one spot, forgetting what you have to do. So I can leave the room and she's still, going around the stage. And in some cases, if on 50 cc winning. So it's definitely a good game. I'm still kind of disappointed with the Breath of the Wild ending, but I won't go there this time. I think I made my point very clear the last podcast, but that's kind of all I've been gaming on, man. It's pretty much Mario Kart 8. I'm loving, like I said, I love all the features, love the battle mode. I feel like Nintendo needs to address the online voice chat aspect of the system, like the fact that we still are doing some of the same things that we did with the Wii U, and we starting to get games that allow you to go online, and we still don't have voice chat. I ain't at the point that I'm ready to fuss, but it is starting to get problematic that we still haven't heard anything about what they're going to do about voice chat, man. So
Mario Kart 8 does not have online voice chat right now, is what you're saying?
No. If it does,
I
haven't experienced it. I mean, I might have to go up there and look again, but no, I don't. I haven't. I'm still going online the exact same way. You still coming into the hub the exact same way. Everything is handled just like the Wii U. No voice chat. No way to communicate with. At least I haven't experienced a way to do it. So.
Okay, that's all right.
That's a bit extra, actually.
Right. It's like I said, I'm giving them this is what I'm trying to do. The Switch has been a great device, a great experience. I haven't turned my PlayStation 4 on or Xbox One or Wii U on since I bought the Switch. Head over heels about Zelda, except for the end. I didn't like how it ended, the boss fight anyway, not the story, but the boss fight. Mario Kart 8 is the perfect game to come behind Zelda Breath of the Wild. But with no voice chat, I got 2 games. I got Fast RMX and I have I got Mario Kart 8. Neither one of them can I actually talk to anybody while I'm playing online. And I feel like that is a problem when this was a huge problem with the previous system. And it's looking like the same issue Now, but like I said, it's just a year. I mean, just a few 2 months in, but that's not an excuse either. So, yeah, I'm wondering why they haven't said anything yet. So,
I do have a bit of an issue with Nintendo with the Switch, and it was something that I didn't get on Choke about it, Chokio, and some other people who actually said something similar to this, but I've noticed that they got massive backlash. But now that I'm looking at how things are unfolding, I think they have a solid point. If you really think about it, the Nintendo Switch has released with no Nintendo Switch games. They only got like ports. We don't have a Nintendo Switch game. You know, the Zelda is a port. Mario Kart 8 is a port. Fast RMX is a port. And then you got indie titles. So my question is what is Nintendo doing outside of just creating the hardware console? But if you don't have games prepared, I mean, you should at least have online prepared or the what is that? The virtual console. What did they do outside of just establishing the hardware specs and putting out the console? Because they didn't really do anything yet. And until a game like Mario, Super Mario Odyssey or Splatoon 2 comes out,
ARMS.
it's or ARMS, it's gonna be months after the fact. I think that Nintendo fans they have a valid gripe there,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree.
It's a shame not to have voice chat. It's to the point now where voice chat has been in gaming console wise long enough to where that is just a standard. To not have that they're really pushing it now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. I gave them, yes, you're right. Breath of the Wild is a port. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like they said, the deluxe version of a port. And the first game that will be, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know if I can honestly say ARMS started on the Switch, but we didn't get it on the Wii U. So it would be the first Switch game, but I believe that it started on the Wii U, just didn't come out, and maybe they added but with the Joy-Con controls, maybe it did start with the Switch. So I don't know, but that'll be the first actual ground up, if it is indeed ground up Switch game. Like I said, I'm assuming that might have didn't start with the Switch, but if it could have. I'm not for sure. But so anyway, yeah, I agree with you, Jedi Knight. I feel like it is something that is worthy of gripes. Not all out boycott the Switch like some people go, but it is definitely something that deserves criticism. And the fact that they have yet to talk about in any aspect about online voice chat, like how that's going to work. And they giving us games that go online. We have had Fast RMX since the Switch launch. We've had now we got Mario Kart 8. Then we have ARMS here soon in June. All these are online games. We need to be hearing something about voice chat. That's just my opinion.
You're absolutely right. Excuse me. And the other problem is if you have third-party devs that are creating games and they have an online aspect of their game, we already know, given that voice chat and that type of communication is standard, how do you expect them to put their product on your device if you haven't even figured out your online situation? And granted, they may have figured it out, but for the fact that it's not implemented and then people have to wait for E3 to it's like that should have been situated and available day one.
If not done by day one, the information should be out now.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. The system has been out for, it'll be what, two months in May. Was that 3
Yeah,
months?
in about 3 days, it'll be 2 months.
And so that information on what's coming down the pipeline, it's been kind of like it's been silent almost when it comes to online. Outside of those first, matter of fact, it wasn't even the 15th that we heard about online. It was before that, shortly after in February, when we actually heard about the online and what the online was going to be, and it's been silent since then. And so you're saying when you got devs, and I'm under the impression that they know what it's going to be, and the devs that's working with them know what it's going to be, but they're being hush hush because it's not quite working out to par the way they want it to. Because we've been doing, and I've said this before, online chat has been something that has been a staple in console gaming since the PS3 days as a standard, and was available the PS2 days. And the fact that this is something that we still have to worry about, to me, doesn't make the Switch a failure, but it's a problem. I want to make sure that we understand those are two different things. Switch isn't a failure because of this, but it is an issue, and people can dance around it all they want, but it is an issue. And I hope they can clear this up, because they have to understand that they do not have any ground to say that they believe Nintendo can do online correct. There's no ground for that. There's no playing field for that. And so the fact that this information is hush hush, or kept behind closed doors, or not open to public, continue to allow people to have doubt that it's going to do what they said it's going to do. And so, like I said, I feel bad for Switch owners, especially if they don't come through the way they said. But Nintendo, they have something good going on right now, and they don't need to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, and I agree with Level when he says that it's not a situation that you need to, like, quote unquote boycott, but fans of Nintendo, they need to do something, because one thing that I will say about Nintendo fans, we are incredibly patient. We'll give Nintendo the endless benefit of the doubts. We'll say, well, it's Nintendo. We'll give them a lot of rope, if you will. But honestly, they need to get with it already. Like, yeah. No more leading up for Nintendo Directs to tell us something that should already be a standard. And it shouldn't be like this overwhelming presentation. This is a situation that should be just expected now. We've gone through this with the Wii, and we've gone through it with the Wii U. I remember when I purchased the Wii, the only game that I was really able to play with voice chat was like Call of Duty Black Ops, and that was because Activision installed it into their game. They was the ones that was really monitoring that, But outside of that, nobody was really playing the Wii and using headsets for that. And then you also have to think about other companies that make headsets, and they generate money off of consoles having these particular type of features, and they're not going to be able to make any sales or revenue from the side of Nintendo. And this is why Nintendo is having a hard time having other companies deal with them on a business or gaming aspect, because it's literally a chance on every avenue, whether it's a third-party developer trying to port a game to their system, or some sort of hardware company like Mad Catz that may run the risk of going out of business because they're making controllers for a console that nobody's going to buy, or headsets and accessories and stuff. Nintendo need to get it right. Don't boycott, but Nintendo fans need to say, okay, enough with the rope. Do it now.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like this with the Switch generating the success that it has. Like, the Switch is successful. I like where Nintendo is with the Switch as far as how they have galvanized the fan base, and not only the fan base, some kind of way they have managed to make the Switch appealing to mass market consumers, to where the Switch is selling regularly now. I mean, so you got to give them their kudos in one sense, but also give them a slap on the hand in the other, because voice chat should not be still something we don't know, and you're releasing games that are online that people have been asking for voice chat in for a while now. You might give them a pass with the Wii. Nobody gave them a pass on the Wii U. We just accepted it with Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon and plenty of other games and Smash Bros, where them games should have had voice chat. People should have been able to, through the system, chat and interact with their friends via your voice in the game. So the fact that here we are with the Switch and the controller doesn't even have an actual jack for headphones, and we don't know if the C-type or Type-C USB connection will allow you, or how you say that, super vent, or
the ability to use headphones.
Yeah, make a workaround to use the headphones. We don't even know if that's an option. The Switch is too successful to not, in 2 directs and a January 12th announcement, to not have addressed voice chat aspects of the Switch yet. And you're talking about we're going to be charged for these things. We're going to be charged for online services after fall. That's not far from now. And, I feel like it's not to the point that I feel like you said, it's not boycott level, but it is like Nintendo, enough is enough. It's successful. We supported you. We bought, we doing our end. Now it's time for you to meet us in this area where we deserve to be met. And that's with breaking down the details of the voice chat, if it's going to be there, if it's not, if it's the same situation with the Wii U. If the developer wanted there, it's available, then how are we going to do that? Do you have a device that's going to allow us to do that? Is it, and the fact that we can go into our first topic, which we already dealt with one of our topics, but we can go into our first legit topic. They announced that they're not having an E3 press conference.
I seen that one coming though.
Yeah,
I knew that
too.
one.
And I will say this, and I'm gonna jump to you and then K-Bun 20. Or I jump to K-Bun and then you, since K-Bun been quiet here lately. I don't see this as a bad thing. Nintendo has been successful away from the stage for how long now? 4-5 years. They have crafted a way to where they don't have to step on that stage anymore. So while it is abnormal for a new device not to see the stage of a E3 press conference stage, I have no problem with that. But I will have a problem if we go through E3 and we hear nothing about voice chat, online services that we're going to be paying for. They're going to have to allocate to me a specific either Nintendo Direct or digital event that addresses just that aspect of the platform, of the unit. No, not mixed in with the games. I mean, you can if you're going to make it long enough, but something that's outside of talking about the games and what's coming, a Nintendo Direct that totally focuses on the online capability and what the thing's going to do and how much it's going to cost, and break that all down and how it's going to work. That's how I feel, but I'll throw it to K-Bun 20, and then we jump to you, Jedi. Go ahead, K-Bun. What do you think about Nintendo not showing up to E3 on the stage like Microsoft or Sony does, with the Switch being a new device and being the first time at E3?
When was the last time they showed up at E3?
The last time they showed up at E3 was when the Wii U, before the Wii U launched. And when they did the Nintendo Land, and the balloons popped and all the graffiti fell.
Yeah, but
that was it.
That's for hype, though.
Huh?
That's for hype. That's the Bill hype, right?
It didn't though. That killed. That about killed Nintendo.
I'm saying, but the purpose of it is the Bill hype. And what I'm saying is that they do not have the need to build hype for the Switch. I guarantee you, if the Switch was doing poor, They probably would have been had they butt up in E3 trying to generate people because you know what I'm saying, this E3 is open to the public per se. And if the Switch was not doing as well as it's doing now, I almost guarantee you they would be in E3 blowing whistles, releasing balloons to get people to get on this bandwagon. And so since the hype train isn't really needed, what they really need is games. And they can do that without having a press conference or without showing up in E3 in that manner, the way Microsoft and Sony does. And so I don't see this as a good thing that they've decided not to, because they don't have to woo the crowd or do anything outside of what they've already been doing to get people to continue to support them. Like I said, they've been doing a good enough job, and I believe what's it called? You used to talk about all the time about about the tree houses and the need for they're not needing to have to show up at these events, and that these events even are losing popularity within themselves. So I don't see it as a bad thing. They can continue to do their little treehouse and show the games they want to, however long they want to, and kind of control the narrative around that, because they definitely have to show games this E3, or even announce games. That has to happen in some aspect, and they can do it within the treehouse. It doesn't have to be the big show, because it saves them money that they don't have to rent that space out and give everybody food, and like Sony do, get everybody drunk. So I'm like I said, I don't see it as a bad thing.
All right, Jedi Knight.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm pretty much used to the fact that Nintendo doesn't participate at E3 anymore. What I do believe that Nintendo's going to do, and this would be pretty slick if they did. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but they're going to have a Splatoon 2 competition or contest there at E3. I wonder if they're going to do that contest during the time that either Sony or Microsoft actually does their presentation. That would be something to see. But yeah, I mean, Nintendo, I've come to the conclusion that the best thing to do is to stop trying to put them in a similar box as a Microsoft and Sony. And the best way to deal with Nintendo is to accept what Nintendo does, right? If you want third-party games, for the most part, you're going to need another console. You're going to deal with Nintendo because you like Nintendo products. So because Nintendo is that type of company, I think it's kind of cool that they complement that type of philosophy. Because they're so different in the gaming world, they're going to also be different on how they present to you their games. So, it's kind of a unique thing all the way around, not just with their games, but their presentation philosophy, their business approach, that type of philosophy. And back to what you said earlier about the Switch being an overwhelming success, the Switch is selling ridiculously, and I'm not gonna lie, it's surprising. I didn't think that the Switch was going to do bad. I didn't think that it was going to sell 3 million units. I think it's at 2.7 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, 2.74 by 31st of March. So
that is shipped right now. So
that's sold.
I think they sold that because they have sold because they constantly having to replenish their stock. So they might have didn't sell that many. That might have been shipped at that time, but now that's actually sold.
Okay.
They might be moved. They might be a little over 3 million sold, like literally in the hands of customers now. So that was just
my
one
understanding
month.
is that 2.7 is sold because there's nothing in the stores to buy. So even if it was 2.7 to ship, you go to any store, at least here in Germany, I can't find it. I've seen the Switch we have the store's called Media Market. It's kind of like a Best Buy, right? I've seen the Switch one time. It was one box, and I thought about it. I thought about buying it, but they didn't have the the retail price at $300. Because it was such a hot product, they had it up to like $350, and I'm not paying an extra $50 just to put in your pocket because I'm too thirsty to wait. That was the last time I seen the Switch in Media Markt. I have not seen it since 2 months, and I can't find this console anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, here where I'm at, I just happened to go into Toys R Us looking for one of those Joy-Con wheels for my daughter because she liked to act like she has a steering wheel. So I was looking for one, and Best Buy was out. So I went over to Toys R Us, and they had a table set up in the entrance. So that is never like that with Switch. Not in my town. Not anything Nintendo. You got to go back and look for Nintendo stuff. It's so barren over there that they would never do anything. So when I walked in, they had a whole table set up for Switch and for Mario Kart 8, and I'm like, man. So I asked her, how's it selling? She said it's still selling good. We got a new shipment in today, so we have half of them back there. She tried to say it's slowing down, but I was like, no, it ain't slowing down. If you just got a shipment in, you only got half of it left. That's not slowing down. It's still a high item. You might still have some right now, but that ain't gonna last probably through the weekend. They all be gone. So
I'm sorry, Level, continue.
I was just saying, so yeah, it's selling. It's selling like as soon as they come in, they're going right back out the door. So Best Buy didn't have any in. You can and when you walk in, they still got Switch advertising and posters and different things all over the place. So it still must be a hot item to them because they still promoting it heavy. So yeah, it's selling. I think it's selling real good. And by Nintendo's own physical year report and financial report, it's selling good. So, but go ahead, Jedi. What was you going to say?
Yeah. 1 second, babe. Do we have more coffee?
I'm not sure.
I'll check in a minute. Sorry about that. Yeah. Let me tell you the influence that the Nintendo Switch, at least in my opinion, what they have in the gaming space right now. On the website Media Markt, right? They have a bundle. It is an Xbox One S bundle. It comes with Forza Horizon 3 installed on the Xbox One. It comes with the game Rage, Fallout 3, Doom 3, Fallout New Vegas, Oblivion, Halo, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Mafia 3. All of this for €350. That is what the Nintendo Switch is doing.
So it's the same price as the Switch?
No, it's not the same price as the Switch.
Okay.
What Microsoft and what Sony is doing, they're putting together these insane bundles to try to establish, people to come and buy their stuff because Nintendo is really the Switch is a strong unit right now. For you to have an Xbox One S and to have a game already installed, which is Forza Horizon 3, like this is a major game here by Microsoft. Right. And then to bundle, this is to bundle 8 other games. So you're getting a total of 9 games with an Xbox One S. And it's 500 gigs for $359. That is insanity.
So that euro translates to $359.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 359 euros in US dollars. That probably comes to about $400. A little bit more than $400.
Okay.
But
so basically
9 games.
they giving you 9 games to offset your coming in and buying the Switch.
Yeah, and in all reality, I think it's smart. Quite a few of these games are really good games, but they are a bit old. But they're giving you an Xbox One S for people who may not have, dove into the Microsoft, platform yet. And they're giving you basically a library off the rip. The Nintendo Switch, they can't quite do that because it's a brand new console and all of the games for the most part are new. And Sony is doing a similar thing, So when I see bundles like this, I know exactly why they're doing it. If the Switch was not a success, we would not see a bundle like this.
Right. So it's basically trying to offset that
They're trying to
popularity and sale power of the Switch.
exactly. And I think it's a great bundle for gamers. This is a win for us.
And there's another thing that GameStop is doing that I feel like is dirty. GameStop's is basically holding Switch systems and units prisoner and adding a whole bunch of games, creating these GameStop bundles that you can come and buy the Switch for with like 2 or 3 games. Like you get Breath of the Wild and Sensuna, whatever that game is, or some other game, and Pro Controller, all for like $450.
Yeah,
but when you just
talked about that on another podcast, right? I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, but when you just want to come in and buy a Switch, and for $299, they'll tell you that they don't have any. But if you buy their bundle, then they have a Switch for you with their bundled in games. It's real.
Man, them dudes so dirty, man.
Yeah.
That's GameStop for you, though.
Yeah, that's some shrewd stuff right there. So I want the Switch, you don't have it. But if I buy your bundle and spend maybe $200 that I wasn't trying to, then you got a Switch in the back for me. It's like, this is not a Nintendo bundle. This is you basically putting a whole bunch of games together and giving me the Switch with it. It's like, dude, these are real shady hustle tactics, man. So the Switch is doing good because that's why GameStop is praising the Switch so much because they do have these crazy bundles in their store, and I'm pretty sure people are taking it because they want the Switch. So of course, I can get more games and get the Switch. $450. Yeah, I think a lot of folks are actually doing that. So it's crazy, man. But anyway, Nintendo still have some things they need to address, but we can't at the same time knock the fact that, like you said, Jedi, they are moving some units and turning some heads. Because I'm gonna be the first one to admit, I did not expect this thing to be selling like this. I thought it'd be respectable, but not this powerful. Like, this thing is really, really moving units. So you're right on that. But let's go to that Call of Duty conversation y'all was kind of talking about before we started. So what's going on with the game? You made. Go ahead. I turn it over to you, Jedi. You had whoever was kind of sharing that topic.
It don't matter. You want to take it, Jedi? You want me to take it?
Yeah, you can go ahead, K-Ball.
So I think the 26th of this month, which is still April right now, Call of Duty released a video of, I don't think it was a gameplay. So I think somebody was gameplay, but they released a video of the new Call of Duty, which is going to be taking place in, I believe, World War II, I believe. And so with this video, it's kind of, even with it, it's kind of tailgating kind of what Battlefield had already established, but it definitely still has that Call of Duty flair to it. And I know from what I've read about it is that they've been talking about kind of going back to the basics, kind of going back to what made Call of Duty Call of Duty. And it wasn't the jumping around, it wasn't the high tech weaponry, it wasn't just all this stuff they've been doing lately with, if you look at Affinity Warfare, which is probably the worst selling Call of Duty game in history, not history, but in the last probably decade or so. And even it's been going downhill since, I think Black Ops 3 was pretty good, but since then it's been going downhill in sales because they've been doing a lot of this high tech futuristic type stuff. But if you go back to their roots, Call of Duty, even before Modern Warfare, when they were doing Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3, which all took place in the earlier wars. And so they're talking about going back to the basics, going back to how they started, and not having all this, crazy jump, jetpack powers, and getting back to a core shooter. I don't know how much faith I have in 'cause I believe Sledgehammer, is the studio that's actually working on this game. And I'm trying to remember the last Call of Duty that they did. I'm not exactly sure because I think it was Ghost. I think, which was not a good Call of Duty. Yeah, I think Call of Duty Ghost was the last one they worked on. So Sledgehammer themselves do not have a good track record for producing games. So I'm not really sold that they're going to do something good, but they're definitely hanging on the coattails of what Battlefield did with Battlefield 1. And my thing is, I know I've definitely said myself for the past couple of years that, I'll get Call of Duty. I wouldn't buy it. I would rent Call of Duty for a couple of weeks, and that'll be enough to let me know I'm done with it, and I would send it back because, all the jumping and Twitch shooting and, stuff that, if you're not having, super action, you kind of get left behind, and so, I'm getting up there in age, and, you can't really Twitch shoot as fast as you used to. And so saying that they're going back to the roots to make it more strategic, like Call of Duty 4 was, and really put them on the map, is a good thing. But I have to see what how they're going to implement it. They can say a lot of good things, but if it's going to be, if it's still going to be Twitch based and the guns are still going to be highly accurate, like it is modern time instead of where it was the old time, where the gun, jumped around a lot. If anyone played Battlefield 1, you know how the guns jump around and you can't really get accurate shots. You gotta get really skillful with it. So I don't know really where they're gonna go with that. So I'm hoping it turns out good. I was a big Call of Duty fan all the way up to I think Ghost was the last one that I actually enjoyed. Before Ghost, sorry, the one before Ghost, one I actually enjoyed. So if they get back to the roots, I'll be happy. But I don't have any faith in them that they can deliver on what they say.
Okay, Jedi, you go from there.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what K-Bomb said. My perspective is I think Activision and Sledgehammer seen the success of what a game like Battlefield 1 did, going back to not just World War II, but actually World War One. I think a lot of the issues with those type of games that some players didn't like, me being one in particular, is that the older guns was kind of like meh. I'm not really into the super futuristic games and running on walls and all that. I was never really a fan of that. But I really did like the modern warfare aspect of Call of Duty, and the Black Ops. I know Black Ops, I think, is set in like during Vietnam, but the guns were more modern. A lot of the World War II games and back in the days, like the guns was kind of like, I'm not really interested, or it doesn't hold my interest, I should say. With Battlefield 1, you had guns that were even older than that, but the way they designed the game, you didn't feel like you were playing with terrible guns. It was like some of them you can tell, like, well, it is what it is with this gun. You just have to wait till you're able to rank up and get better guns. But for the most part, it was a good game. Battlefield 1, for some reason, was also a game that you suddenly stopped. I remember there was one time that me and K-Bomb was playing, and even though with our time differences, based on where we live, we still found time to play the game, right? But then suddenly, I'm not sure about you, K-Bomb, but I stopped playing the game online, period. I haven't played Battlefield for any respectable amount of time for months.
Last time I played with you, last time I played.
Yeah, I popped it in once here and there and tried to, do the campaign and maybe play it online for 15 minutes, but it didn't really hold my interest after that. And I don't want to say that as a knock on Battlefield 1. I think their design and certain things that they did with the online, certain objectives, like you can push and the defenders back, and they had to hold their ground and not give up certain aspects. I think that they had good ideas. It was much different than just running and gunning like you get typically with Call of Duty, right?
Right.
Especially being somebody who primarily played Call of Duty and don't really have an extensive history with Battlefield, it was really different. And the play style was different. But back to Call of Duty. What I say they should do is to continue with what they did with Infinite Warfare. I didn't care for the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I purchased that game for Modern Warfare. That is it. If anybody checks out my PS4 account, you will see very little playing of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I've played more of the campaign than I did online. I think I played like 10 minutes online. That online for Infinite Warfare is trash. The campaign is okay. Yeah, I would say better than okay. It wasn't bad, but anytime I popped in the game, it was to play Modern Warfare. I think that what they need to do with Call of Duty World War II is to now do Modern Warfare 2 as an added game. I've never played Modern Warfare 2 because it never came out for the Wii. Modern Warfare Reflex came out for the Wii, and that's the one that I played. So Modern Warfare 2 would be a completely new game for me. I think that was a great idea by Activision to do, because if they didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have purchased.
A lot of people would not have purchased. I've been going back and forth. I've been going back and forth if I want to spend $45 on a 15-year-old game. I've been going back and forth on that, bro.
Yeah. And in all honesty, for me, if they would have sold Modern Warfare 2 separately for $45, $50, I would buy it, because at least for me, I'm more of a casual guy. I've never played the game, so it's a new experience for me. And also, I hear that Modern Warfare 2 is one of their best games in history. Like, that is the game that really put them on the map.
It's arguably better than Modern Warfare. Here I go again. It's arguably better than COD4. A lot of people love. I think I played COD4 longer, but Modern Warfare 2 was amazing because of so many stuff you can do. That's when they added the shield. Like, you actually had a shield in that game, and you can actually, and that game, I know I loved it so much because you could win a match with any kind of gun. I won free fall games with pistols, assault rifles, submachine guns. I won several with no gun at all, just with a shield and a knife. So yeah, that definitely was one of their best games because it was so diverse, and it wasn't just everyone running around with the same loadout.
Yeah, and I think that they should really do that, just to hit on the nostalgia aspect. Certain people who played that game, I don't know how many years ago it came out, maybe like 10 years, would want to play that again, on new current hardware. The game that did it for me, outside of Modern Warfare Reflex, that was really my introduction to the Call of Duty franchise modern-wise. I did have, was it Call of Duty 4 that also came out for the Wii? That was also, surrounding on World War II. But once Call of Duty Black Ops came out, I was done. I was finished. I've put thousands of hours into Call of Duty Black Ops on a Wii. Granted, some people will probably look at that game and be like, what the heck are these graphics? Like, how can you even play this game? Getting past the graphics, bro, that game was absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I think that Activision should really do that. If they put in Modern Warfare 2, they got $60 from me.
So let me ask you this. By them returning back to this whole World War scenario and setting, I'm not going to lie. I ain't never been a Call of Duty type of guy. And I feel like, wow, this might address some of the concerns of how they were trending with the whole adding I like to say, Metroid Prime type controls into a Call of Duty game by the jumping off the walls, scaling walls, and all the stuff that they was doing with the futuristic and futurizing Call of Duty. By going back to World War II settings, is that enough? And y'all kind of just said it, that it isn't enough, because you said if they add in Modern Warfare 2, you said they'd get your $60. So my question is, let's say they don't do that, Jedi, is this signs of the Call of Duty brand starting to lose its appeal?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. It's just that with this new game, I would have to see first how the game is. You know, given that I've never really been a quote unquote hardcore gamer or a hardcore Call of Duty guy, though I've played my, fair share of them and put in many hours. With Modern Warfare 2, there's already a history there. Though I've never played it, it's good. It's been out for, at least a decade. You've seen, gameplay online, and granted, I don't like 360 no scopes. That's ridiculous. But for the most part, that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is a phenomenal game. So, but because of that, I know that if I were to purchase it, it's not money going to waste. I'm going to enjoy myself.
Right.
With this game, I would have to kind of wait to see what it's about. The graphics look phenomenal, but at the same time, I'm not really a graphics fall like that. You're not going to get me with a game that looks just as good as Battlefield 1, but the content is garbage. So with Modern Warfare 2, whether it looks like what it looked like on the 360 or if it's with updated graphics, overall that you're getting a good game. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they're losing their grip. It's just me personally, I have to see if it's a good game before I purchase it.
All right, K-Bone 20.
I think. Okay, so I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna say this. So Call of Duty is losing its grip, but you have to understand how much grip they had. Understand that even though they're losing their grip,
that grip was pretty massive.
It's still massive. I'm looking at the stats, and Infinite Warfare, which is still one of the worst selling Call of Duty games in the past couple of years, 10 years or so, still was the #1 selling console game of 2016. So we have to be careful when we say that.
So I got you. You're right.
Yes, it's not selling as much as it used to. But the fact is, people are still buying this thing in droves. So yeah, I think this. Here's the thing, though. It can help people like me. That fell in love with Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty 4, COD 4. That fell in love with that. It helps me because I'm used to that kind of game. But when you look at the gamers now, they like something totally different. And so they may like Call of Duty because of the jump around piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They some people grew up with this being their Call of Duty. And it going backwards may have a negative effect for that. And I can see them saying, well, if you want that stuff, go play Battlefield. So for me, it's like, yes, return to your origins. Yes. But for others, especially who grew up with this, or, this is their Call of Duty, going backwards may have a negative effect because their gamers, majority of the gamers now are not people like me, you, Jedi. They are becoming the 25-year-olds, the 18-year-olds, the 13-year-olds, the 10-year-olds. They're not the late 20s and 30-year-olds anymore. I mean, we've moved on to it. A lot of people, even in the chat, if you pay attention, a lot of people are saying, I'm done with it, I'm done with it, I'm done with it.
Right.
Because we remember the COD 4. This isn't our Call of Duty. So this may have a negative impact for them. I know for me, it definitely has a possibility to get me back. But for the clientele now, I don't know. Because one more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing. Because if you remember, Modern Warfare came out, and the COD 4 was a beast. They did this with World at War. Did not sell as well as COD 4. Did not revisit the past until now. They already did this right after COD 4. They went and did World at War. I remember I played that game. I couldn't get any of my buddies that was playing COD 4 to play this game, and so I end up going backwards and playing COD 4 until the next Modern Warfare came out.
But yeah, you bring up interesting thing, and I don't want to, because I said we'd be around an hour, and we kind of right at that a little bit over. So we'll wrap up with this. But you bring up an interesting take, because that's what I was thinking. By going back, and people, like you said, that have already, their idea of Call of Duty was framed under this new type of Call of Duty with the exoskeleton and ability to trail, like almost like Titanfall, because that's really when they started doing it. Titanfall came out, and I think Call of Duty tried to address what they perceived was going to be a successful franchise that ended up not being a successful franchise. Because I didn't see them doing this before Titanfall with the whole. Didn't they even get 2 mechs and stuff at one point? No, they just had the exosuit. But by them going back, this might turn off a lot of the younger audience that they might have built and conditioned under that style of Call of Duty, and going back to World War II might be turned off because they don't want to be in that setting. They don't want to see these old guns and tanks and all that stuff. Might not be intriguing to them, and that's my question. Like, I'll be honest. I don't see the appeal of going back to where, like, how many, because they have enough games in that setting that we've been there and done it. So what's exciting about going back there again? And that's why I mean, like, if people don't want where Activision and those who make Call of Duty, if people don't want where they're going and where they're trending towards futuristic, kind of where weaponry is going, like guns and exoskeletons and stuff like that, that's where army bases and all is working on these type of weapons. If they don't want that experience, I don't understand what going back to. I don't get it. And maybe because I'm not a Call of Duty fanatic, I wouldn't get it, but I don't get it. And I'm trying to understand, okay, you don't want this. And I can understand if you don't want the jumping on walls and stuff. If they scale that back, I would think find a way to make this work, not going back to an old formula that's you've made at least 4 or 5 Call of Duties in that era.
I got a theory on
that. They've only made 3 in that era. I understand their bread and butter was this. Was this type of game, but they didn't blow up until they did Modern.
Right.
Because they did Call of Duty 1, they did Call of Duty 2, they did Call of Duty 3. They did that the big red one, which sold good. The most was 10 million, but they didn't blow up until they did Modern Warfare, which sold 18 million, which pretty much doubled their highest selling game before then. But this game is going back before they kind of hit their stride with COD 4. So, I mean, they are going back to the basic, back to their roots, which entirely is not a bad thing. I see the benefit in that because they've strayed way too far with this, and how far can you go with this? They're borrowing things from MOBA games now. No, seriously. If you look at Call of Duty right now is close to a MOBA game where you have different characters with different abilities, and you can trigger these different abilities and stuff like that. That's MOBA. That's not an online shooter. And so they're trying everything, and I think it's too much, man. I think if you can simplify things and just make a good shooter, man, stop throwing all this candy. I feel like they get us a lot of candy with Call of Duty. Just give us a good, solid shooter with a good base, some good guns, a good backstory, good backdrop, and let the game do its talking. Stop giving all this candy with all these different abilities and crazy stuff.
I want to hear this theory. Because I feel what you said, K Bum. But let me let Jedi get in here. Then I'll say what I was gonna say. Go ahead, Jedi.
Yeah, K-Bomb just touched on a portion of it when he was talking about all of this candy and kind of simplifying things again. Two things. Number one, I heard that this Call of Duty, you're not going to have replenishable health, meaning in that you're not going to be like a superhero. You get shot, and then if you run around a corner, 2 seconds later, you get to regenerate your health. If you get shot, you're going to feel that. And you're just going to be shot, basically. And it may not be a mortal blow, but you're going to be, it's going to be important in the game. So bullets are going to matter, right?
It's going to limit you. Okay.
And that is something that you don't really have in either game, like a Battlefield or Call of Duty, right? But where my theory comes in is basically online. Call of Duty is primarily an online game.
Yes.
Right? So if they see that they're having a lot of problems with the latest Call of Duties, it's not really because of the story aspect of Call of Duty. It's because of the multiplayer aspect of Call of Duty. When it comes to all of the candy that K-Bomb is talking about, we don't want to run on walls anymore. Granted, it was cool when you had like the first installment, maybe the second installment. But when you kind of gravitate your franchise to that area, guess what? That is no longer Call of Duty. At least the Call of Duty that made Call of Duty, right? So what they're doing is they're
say that again.
It's not the Call of Duty that made Call of Duty. Right? So I think they're kind of going back because they know, okay, well, obviously the fans have spoken. They don't want these things anymore, and they want more of a realistic type Call of Duty, something that they can really identify with, that they can relate to. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them back into a scene that they're familiar with, right? We already seen, nobody did a World War I game. And quite frankly, when I heard that Battlefield was doing World War I, I'm like, well, who the hell is going to care about that until you saw it and then you was blown away, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to go back to what they know best, and they're going to give you maps that are designed for multiplayer that people are going to love, because that's what they really have to do. They have to give you the environment, but most importantly, they have to give you the maps. But another aspect of it, which I believe that they're going to really touch on, when you talk about futuristic games, you have to make everything from scratch because you have nothing to refer to, because it's nothing but imagination. It's the future. It hasn't happened yet. When it comes to World War II games, World War I games, you can go back into history and you can take certain different aspects of that particular war. Or you can look at certain movies or shows like Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan, and you can kind of borrow elements from those things, what made those movies and shows successful, and translate that into a story to where now not only do you have a multiplayer, but now you're trying your best to put together a story mode that is actually worth playing, to the point where people are not purchasing Call of Duty simply to go straight online, because really that's what we've been doing, right? I've played all of Modern Warfare Reflex and Black Ops 1. Black Ops 2 for the Wii U and all the other ones, I mean, not Black Ops 2 for the Wii U, Ghost and all the other ones, I didn't play through. I think I finished Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on Steam. But outside of that, I didn't finish those other games, right? I think that they're trying to do this as well in order to give you a great story mode. And I think that's the reason why they're going back into World War II, because they can have something to reference from. They can take different ideas from other people who've delved into that environment, and not necessarily via games, but just ideas in general that they can borrow from and then create a game.
Okay. All right. I mean, like I said, I can't really speak. I'm just going from a person that's kind of outside of the whole Call of Duty love affair that I've seen over the last decade or so. And I played, I remember playing Call of Duty 3. I think that was on a 360, right? Call of Duty 3. Wasn't that 360? Yeah, I think that was three. No, that was that was 360 when they brought that over because it was first on the PC. I remember playing that game. Was it Call of Duty 3 or Call of Duty 2? Anyway, and it was back in that era. And I remember playing Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare. And I kind of, even though it's a first person shooter, I got into it a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not a big enough Call of Duty fan. I'm not a Call of Duty fan at all to really fairly have the conversation. But listening to you guys, we had to see because I know with what was that? Resident Evil, this latest Resident Evil that came out that supposedly went back to its roots. Actually, went even to an FPS position. When the sales came out, it was still no better than what was before. So I don't know what's gonna happen. You know, gamers say they want things, but then pockets don't go out and spend the money on what they say they want. So we'll see.
It could be a bit of saturation here, though. Am I muted? No. It could be a bit of saturation here. You have so many different options. You know, so many games come out that sometimes you just have to say, hey, I'm not going to buy this one. I'm going to buy that one. You know, Resident Evil looks great. Though I may be a poor example because that's usually not my game. But though I thought the game looked great, I didn't buy it. You know? Yeah, I mean, it really, I guess it really depends on the person. You know, I tend to constantly not want to put myself in that situation because I know generally people who do these type of things and, you know, they are more of a more dedicated gamer than I am. I'm dedicated, but not so wildly. It's not variety for me. It's like certain games that I can play for a very long time, you know, and Resident Evil is really not that type of game for me, but it looks great.
Okay. Well, I don't want to pull us too far because we said we would only do an hour, and K-Bum was only supposed to be here for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so
the wife is going to get him.
What time is it that way, man? What, like 10:30?
What's that? 11:15, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna let you guys go back to because y'all should be hitting the bed right now. But anyway, man, I enjoyed the conversation. I enjoyed being on here with you, back on here with you, Jedi. Always nice getting you on, K-Bum, man. And hopefully, we probably won't be able to do next Sunday, but hopefully I'll be able to get another Sunday in so you can get in with us. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. I'm gonna let these fellas sign out, starting with K-Bum 20, all the way from London. Go ahead, bro.
Yo, again, K-Bomb 20, up in this London hotel. About to get off this microphone so I can spend some time with the wife. She's a good one for you brothers who ain't married. Make sure if you get a wife, make sure you get a wife that understands video games and she knows that it's not just for kids. That grown men can play video games too. I got me a good one, so just letting y'all know.
Okay. Hey, okay, and Jedi Knight all the way from Germany.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. I'm glad I was able to make it, and you know, hopefully we can do it all over again next week. And most definitely, we'll speak via Twitter and try to figure out exactly when we'll hold that dedicated podcast to that conversation. I think that'll be a real goodie. You know, something that's not necessarily games, but I think something that is, you know, real interesting to talk about. But also, shout outs to the people that are in the comment section.
Yeah.
You know, I've noticed that people are actually interacting. I noticed that when K-Bomb mentioned something about the live chat, I jumped on YouTube and I'm like, yeah, these guys are here pretty much every week. I need to say something. So shout out to the people that listen live and then actually interact in the comment section.
Yeah, I be keeping up with what they saying. Like Lucas, what is his last dude? Lucius Min, I think that's how you say it. So yeah, I'll be keeping up. But yeah, shout outs to all y'all in the live chat, keeping it lit up there, talking to K-Bum and all the different folks.
Yeah, I'm always in the chat, holding it down. The chat. I got my boy didn't say anything about Sony talk, so I'm good. He usually hit me with the Sony, but I'm good. We can go to that.
Okay, well, hopefully y'all enjoyed this, and we about to get out of here. So until next time, folks, deuces.